As a person with a very deep voice, I'm hired all the time for advertising campaigns. But a deep voice doesn't sell B2B, and advertising on the wrong platform doesn't sell B2B either. That's why if you're a B2B marketer, you should use LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn has the targeting capabilities to help you reach the world's largest professional audience. That's right, over 70 million decision makers all in one place. All the big wigs, then medium wigs, also small wigs who are on the path to becoming big wigs. Okay, that's enough about wigs. LinkedIn ads allows you to focus on getting your B2B message to the right people. So, does that mean you should use ads on LinkedIn instead of hiring me, the man with the deepest voice in the world? Yes. Yes, it does. Get started today and see why LinkedIn is the place to be to be. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to a Mint podcast brought to you by HT Smartcast.
Hello listeners. Welcome to the latest episode of Why Not Mint Money. I'm your host, Jash Kriplani. Financial planning is important for everyone, whether it is women or men. Still, women investors account for just a fifth of mutual fund investors in India. With Women's Day around the corner, today we are joined by Kavitha Menon, who is the founder of Probitus Wealth, to discuss how women can invest their money and plan their finances in a disciplined manner.
Welcome to Why Not Mint Money, a personal finance podcast where we help you understand basic money concepts and share strategies for you to build your wealth. So let's get started with your money journey.
Hi Kavitha, welcome to the latest episode of Why Not Mint Money. It's really great to have you here. Kavitha, just ahead of Women's Day, we wanted to chat with you to understand how women should be managing their finances. So coming straight to the point, what according to you should women keep in mind when planning their finances, and how is it different from men?
So let me just tell this, put the record straight, that financial planning for women is no different from financial planning for men. Women need to be as diligent about their finances as men have to be. They need to do financial planning just like men have to do. There's just one difference, and that's because of our biology. And that is we tend to outlive men. So when you are planning for your retirement, for your goals, you may need to keep that in mind, that you may outlive your spouse, your counterpart, the men, So you need to save a lot more, if I had to put it like that. But besides that, the principles of financial planning for women don't change. It's absolutely the same.
Right. Sure. And what about, focusing and stressing on, because women probably may have slightly different phases of life. They may have to, they should not. And I totally 100% I'm with you on this. They should not take any career breaks post-pregnancy or whatever. But for some reason, if something happens, how do they plan for all this?
Those are life transitions that happens in everybody's
Absolutely.
Transitions. And for most women, motherhood is one big transition, for career women especially. And there tend to be breaks around that time. All right. Which is why I say you need to have good plan in place before you get into these transition phases. Of course, life throws us curveballs all the time. It's not possible to prepare for everything. But there are certain simple rules that if you follow and you're consistent, you will go through these transitions with fair ease. At least financially, it will be fairly simple for you. So what are those basics that you need to follow? First thing is, start saving as early as you can and start saving for yourself. I have seen women who come to me, as families come to me, they are the ones who will spend the money. They're earning women, okay, fairly independent women, but they are not the one doing the saving. They're the one who do the spending. And the man of the house will do the investments. He's the one who will buy the house in his name. So assets are in the male spouse's name, and the women own very, very little. This needs to change. So women need to start building assets in their own names also. Build financial assets in their own names. So that's more useful when you have these transitions, right? Versus physical assets like property or gold, which are fairly liquid. Try building on financial assets. Have adequate medical insurance. When you're buying medical insurance, ensure you have significant cover. This should be over and above the cover that is offered by your employers if you're working and you have group insurance. If you can buy a cover which includes maternity benefits, then kya baat hai? So that'll be great. But it is not necessary, because medical expenses which are known, like maternity expenses, generally you don't need a a medical cover for it. But if you can get it as a part of your policy, nothing like it. So get insured, get a good medical insurance cover. So that's the step.
And critical illness cover? Would you also recommend that?
See, that is a function of your very personal requirements. Critical illness insurance is something you need. So I'll give you an example, Josh. Supposing there are people in the family who have suffered from cardiovascular disease or cancer, for example, then you know that there is a family history, and therefore you may want to buy a critical illness which covers those specific illnesses. But otherwise, I generally recommend a higher medical insurance suffices, just does the job. Because critical illness, that's another topic altogether. It has its limitations, but again, it's very, very personalized, very specific to the individual. Yeah. So these are the simple things that you need to follow. Save diligently, build your financial assets, and cover yourself medically. Ensure there's ring fencing your investments. Planning for these transitions is more important. If you follow the financial planning basics, then you are fairly prepared even for a break during motherhood, or if you have to be a primary caretaker for your family members and you need to take a break from your career, you're fairly well taken care of. You still don't lose your financial independence if you have saved, you have an emergency fund, you have medical insurance. So you will be fairly well off even during these transitions.
And Kavitha, since we are doing it around Women's Day, can you stress on the importance of financial independence for women? Of course, it's important for everyone. I 100% agree, but how important it is from women's perspective?
I won't deny the fact that women do face a lot of obstacles during their financial journey, right? There are breaks, like you rightly said, and women, as you know, especially the women of my generation, women born in, our millennials, for example, there is a sense that they don't need to know about money themselves. They've always handed money decisions to the male member of the family, be it their father, their brother, or their spouse. It is very important that it's just like saying, should men learn to cook? Of course, they need to learn to cook, right? It's a life skill. It's a very important life skill. Similarly, learning about finance, learning about your personal finance, learning about how to go about managing money is a very important life skill, and women need to build this. Generally, when the upbringing such that men generally tend to take up this function by themselves, and women not so much. It is important that if they have not been brought up in that kind of environment where they have not learned much about finances and they're independent now, then they need to learn about financial management also. Okay, it is not rocket science. There are some basic things, just like in cooking, some basic things that you need to follow for financial management. If you're lost, if you're not able to figure the way, take the help of a financial advisor.
Right.
And find your own path. Your financial independence is financial independence is strongly linked to high self-esteem. Your high self-esteem makes you a confident woman. A confident woman makes for confident families, happy society. So overall, the world will get better if you are financially independent.
And Kavitha, when we look at these investment platforms, and we were talking to some, data is very interesting. Although the number of users from women investors are, not as much, say in the range of 15, 20, 25%. But those that are investing are then investing with a longer term. I mean, their portfolios are seeing lesser churn. There is more disciplined approach. There is longer holding periods when it comes to women investors. Anecdotally, that's the trend we are seeing. But still, why women number of women investors in India have been so few. Whether we look at any data, we look at mutual fund folios, or we look at these platforms, what's one or two big sort of obstacles, and then we will come and talk to you about some tips that you can share for women investors to optimize their portfolio.
I think empirically we can say that the reason there are fewer women investors is because there are fewer women in the workforce also. So if you look at a percentage, women are a much smaller number of the workforce as compared to men. So that could be one reason. But I'll also come to the second point, which is my own personal observation in the last 2 decades as a financial planner. I had mentioned this earlier also. So while I do financial planning for families, it's a trend where the woman will be working. Okay, she's employed, she's highly qualified, and probably makes as much money as the man. But when it comes to investments and the creation of financial assets, that job simply just for some reason, because it is a society, a structural issue with society, I don't know, but it tends to be held by men. Financial assets, physical assets, the ownership of assets are with men. The women will spend money. So they will run the households, they will pay the school fees. So they are the ones who will make all the expenses and spend the money. But they are not given to saving. And I have never understood this trend. This is because this is also with women who are highly qualified and educated and have given their whole life to their careers, very career-oriented women who tend to do this. So I think it's a society problem where it is not ingrained in women that they need to be financially independent. They are always, the way we Indians are, I don't want to sound sexist, but the truth is that the burden of financial health of the family is always on the male member of the family. It is never on the woman. This needs to change. Okay, so women need to, while we all want equality, women need to also build financial assets for themselves in the same fashion that they're building it for their families. Okay, and that means that the savings have to be done by both parties, both husband, wife, or by women also. You cannot just give your money to your mother, to your father, and invest in their names. You need to start building assets in your name. This in India, at least in my personal experience, I have seen women doing the complete opposite of that. They will invest in fixed deposits in their parents' names or in their spouses' names, but apne naam pe nahi karenge. And that has to change. There is a fear, for some reason, a fear of taking a wrong decision, maybe. I don't know. There's an insecurity. They think they're not well equipped to take those very important decisions. But this is also something that will help them when they start the journey of investments. And the reason for that is, Josh, women tend to be nurturers, okay? They are risk averse by nature. So it is very natural for them to be very cynical when they make investment decisions. And this is a good thing. This is a good, a system of cleansing out the riskier assets and building on to better quality, longer term assets. And you will see, and from my experience, I can tell you that women tend to not take risky decisions. They don't take spontaneous decisions. They take their time. They like assets that are growth oriented, and in the long term, they look at a long term view. Okay. And this is very natural to women. This thing of speculating short term, patafat, I have rarely seen that coming from women.
Sure.
So you're a natural, I have to say this, women are natural investors, natural long-term investors.
Sure.
Okay, so there's just a need to nudge yourself into the direction of starting the investment process. Start if you have not started. And if you have started, it would be good to just take stock and see whether you're in the right direction. Are you in the right assets? Are you in the right investments? Are those investments aligned with your life's goals? And if you're not very clear about all this, always okay to take the help of a financial planner, at least a one-time exercise of taking help, and see whether you're in the right place.
And Kavitha, the second question, any tips for young women who are just getting their first job, first paychecks, what they can do any tips for them to improve their investment portfolio, optimize their investments? Any tips for them?
So the one big tip I can give you is you should invest in assets that are inflation hedged, that give you better than inflation returns. And what is the asset class that helps you beat inflation? Equities. Okay, when you're young, start investing in a high quality equity mutual fund. Don't dabble with other things that are looking very attractive. Everything that shines is not gold. You can start investing in any large cap, high quality, blue chip kind of a fund. Start your investment journey with mutual funds and with equity mutual funds. If you need help, take the help of a financial advisor who can guide you in the right direction. If you don't want to take the help of a financial advisor, there are so many resources available online. A little bit of reading, a little bit of understanding will help you take the right call. Needless to say, compounding will give you stupendous returns in the long term.
Thank you, Kavitha. Thanks a lot for joining us today. I'm sure these insights will really be helpful, especially for the women listeners who have tuned into this episode. Thanks. Thank you, listeners, for joining us today. If you liked this episode and would like to hear to more such interesting conversations, do log into our channel Why Not Mint Money on Spotify, where you'd always find me omnipresent. Also, if you have any new ideas or suggestions, you can DM me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Jash Kriplani, that is JASHKRIPLANI. You can always reach out to us over the email. Our email ID is mintmoney@livemint.com.
To stay updated on this podcast, follow us at HT Smartcast on all the major social media platforms. To listen to more such podcasts, log on to www.htsmartcast.com.